Chapter 70. Yang Feng's gaze fell on the four corpses and he said with a light smile, "What tenacious vitality, they still haven't died. Pierre, and I am surprised that you are both still alive." Two of the four corpses on the ground moved slightly. With a pale complexion, Pierre got up, wiped the bloodstains from the corners of his mouth, and knelt in front of Yang Feng, saying loudly, "Pierre is willing to swear allegiance to Yang Feng Darren henceforth, to Darren's family for generations to come. Please take me in, Darren." Anya's pretty complexion changed. She imperceptibly glanced at Eunice beside her. She promptly knelt in front of Yang Feng and said loudly, "Anya is willing to pledge allegiance to Yang Feng Darren. Please take me in. No matter what request you have, Annie will comply completely." Pierre and Anya, the two of them were very smart. They knew that after hearing Yang Feng's secret, they were now in a perilous situation. The only way to survive was to become Yang Feng's people. Only then would there be a chance of survival. Pierre and Anne were kneeling on the ground, their heads bowed, their bodies stiff, their backs streaming with cold sweat, and their hearts filled with terror. "Put on this headband and collar. This headband can detect your thoughts, and this collar is equipped with alchemy bombs. If you have any unfavorable thoughts about us, this collar will blow your brains out. Of course, you can choose not to wear it." Yang Feng looked at Pierre and Anya kneeling on the ground with a smile that wasn't a smile. He waved his hand and two bladed troops walked towards Pierre and Anya while holding two sets of black collars and silver rings. Yang Feng didn't believe in Pierre's oath. For him, it was still safer to use technological means. Without a word, Pierre took the black collar and bracelet and put them on. Annie hesitated for a moment before she gritted her teeth and put on the collar and the bracelet. "Get up," Yang Feng said lightly. Pierre and Nikolai got up, and a chill ran down their backs. As time passed, the moon rose into the sky. Rays of moonlight fell on the ground, and then, under the guidance of a mysterious force, it slowly moved towards the huge crack. In the end, it condensed into a beam of moonlight and entered the crack. Eunice suddenly said, "You can go in." Yang Feng nodded slightly and took the lead in striding towards the rift. Eunice and Xianxia also attached themselves to the liquid metal robot and walked towards the crack. The densely packed beast-type bladed troops, gunner troops and artillery troops also followed behind Yang Feng into the crack. The gloom cave could possibly contain a peerless treasure like the golden blood. As long as he obtains golden blood, then Yang Feng may once again have a breakthrough, break the shackles of his soul aptitude, and have hope of promoting to a level 1 warlock. Under the illumination of the moonlight, a staircase condensed from moonlight formed in that unfathomably deep crack. The staircase formed by the condensation of moonlight directly floated in the void, as if it was connected to a dark space, and then disappeared in the void. Yang Feng waved his hand. A beast-type bladed troop immediately stepped forward, walked down the moonlight stairs step by step, and then suddenly disappeared at the end of the moonlight stairs. Unknown energy field interference. According to the analysis of the data in the current database, the energy force field should be the interference force field formed by the life force particles of warlocks and other energy particles. Long-distance data link failed. Do you want to use your current spiritual vessel as the main body to form a new close-range command center? A string of information flashed in Yang Feng's mind. Yang Feng ordered, "Yes. Use my current spiritual vessel as the main body to form a new close-range command center." Understood, starting the smart chip's reconstruction. The remaining time to completion is 10 seconds. A gunner troop came from the side, held 10 high-energy batteries, and pressed them on Yang Feng's body. From Yang Feng's body, ports extended, directly pierced into the high-energy batteries, and absorbed the energy of the 10 high-energy batteries. A piece of smart chip quickly condensed in the brain of the liquid metal robot Yang Feng possessed. Reconstruction complete. A notification sound sounded. Yang Feng could clearly perceive the information of a total of 765 level 7 primary battle robots around him. Yang Feng's eyebrows creased slightly as he said, 3796, if I enter the relic like this, won't the radio waves be disturbed by the force field? Once this body enters the relic, it won't become paralyzed, right? It won't. Owner, you are my host. Your soul has already been transformed and strengthened, and possesses the characteristics of a Shi clan. No matter how many tens of thousands of li apart, no matter what kind of place, you can use robots to enter an adventure. Even if other people possess the same technology, they still wouldn't be able to achieve this. Eunice and Shui, as long as the two of them are within a 20 radius of you, they can also receive the protection of your soul and enter the relic with their mechanical bodies. Yang Feng felt relieved and directly walked along the moonlight-formed stairs in large strides. He continuously walked along the moonlight-formed stairs. When he reached the bottom of the stairs, almost stepping on empty air, suddenly his eyes blurred and very strangely appeared in a dark passageway. In front of Yang Feng stood the bladed troop that was the first to explore the path. The two women, Shui, followed the huge mechanical legion and entered the gloom cave's passageway one by one. A bladed troop turned on its searchlight, at once illuminated the passageway. On both sides of the passageway, there were shelves, specially used to carry magic crystal lamps. However, at this moment, there wasn't a single magic crystal lamp on the shelves. Obviously, it had already been taken away by the people who entered first. Yang Feng carefully sized up the surroundings. He discovered that behind him, there was also a long passageway leading to who knows where. Yang Feng's eyebrows creased slightly as he said, "How do we go out?" Eunice's eyebrows creased slightly as she carefully sized up the surroundings. After passing through this passageway, there will be a fork. Above each fork is a mural. At the end of the skull mural fork, there's a teleportation array. Through the teleportation array, we can leave this place. The lion mural fork is the path leading to the gloom cave's headquarters. The dark elf mural fork, no one has ever come out of it alive. Let's go. Yang Feng and his entourage walked along the passageway. After walking for several kilometers, Yang Feng passed through the passageway and arrived at a plaza. The plaza looked as if it was licked clean by a dog. Nothing was left behind. On the other side of the plaza, there were 3 forks. Above each fork was engraved a lifelike mural. The 3 murals were respectively a skull, a huge golden lion, and a gorgeous and enchanting dark elf. Chapter 71. Yang Feng waved his hand and a bladed troop immediately walked towards the skull mural fork. After walking for approximately 3 kilometers, a teleportation array appeared at the bottom of the skull mural fork. After the bladed troop stepped onto the teleportation array, a radiance flashed and it immediately disappeared. There's no problem, it's indeed possible to teleport out. The teleportation location is within a valley 600 kilometers north of the obscure mountain range. Once the bladed troop went out, NR 3796 quickly found it and sent the information back to Yang Feng's body. After ensuring the route of retreat, Yang Feng ordered a bladed troop to walk towards the Dark Elves' mural fork. Although Eunice couldn't lie to Yang Feng, but Yang Feng still wanted to see what was inside the Dark Elves' mural fork. Recording a bit more data would be of great benefit to NR 3790 SIXS database. The more data NR 3796 had in his database, the more comprehensive the data, the more useful it would be, and it would be able to deduce countless branches of technology. Once he entered the Dark Elves' mural fork, Yang Feng, through the bladed troop's optical perception system, saw the wall engraved with all kinds of strange colors. It was like a chaotic abstract painting. Yang Feng only saw 13 of those strange murals. He felt a burst of dizziness and pain in his brain, but his eyes couldn't leave those murals. It was as if his mind and soul were deeply attracted by those strange murals. Warning! Warning! The target murals have a hypnotic effect. The host's spirit force is unable to resist the mural's hypnotic effect. Immediately cut off the image transmission. A warning suddenly sounded. Yang Feng's eyes darkened and he couldn't see anything. He gasped for breath. The back of his body was already drenched in cold sweat. Yang Feng's back was drenched in cold sweat. He thought with lingering fear, truly strange. A mural can kill people, the existence of warlocks, it's really too outrageous. Yang Feng already had the cultivation of a level 3 apprentice warlock. If placed on Earth, his physical constitution would definitely be a superhuman existence. But he couldn't even read a few murals. that formidable warlocks' methods were extremely strange. Do you want to record these murals into the database? According to the analysis of the existing data, after you promote to a level 3 warlock, then you can view these murals. So long as you can view these murals, then you'll be able to slightly increase your spirit force for the first time. Yang Feng said decisively, yes. Spirit force was the core of most warlocks' cultivation. Even if it was a body-tempering warlock with an incomparably formidable fleshly body, they would never let go of the cultivation of their spirit force. Things that could increase spirit force were all good treasures. Yang Feng would never let them slip by. There are a lot of corpses in this tunnel. Do you want to collect any useful items from the corpses? For example, magical stones, secret treasures, and materials. Yang Feng was overjoyed. Collect them at once. Ever since he obtained Fernandro family's war reparations and established Steel City, Yang Feng had always been rich and overbearing, almost never worrying about money. But after studying in Warlock College in Talia, he discovered that he was really too poor. The price of a level 1 spell model was as high as 8,000 magic stones. The more powerful level 2 spell models, level 3 spell models, and level 4 spell models were even more expensive. Level 1 spell models could also be bought with magic stones. Spell models of level 2 and above were all very precious and basically had a price but no supply. As for level 3 and level 4 spell models, they were even more rare and precious. They could only be bought in some large-scale auctions between warlocks. Inside Black Cottage, there was only a somewhat dilapidated level 2 spell model and a half-completed level 3 spell model. Therefore, Black Cottage's Master Bonnie had implanted a fiend's blood meridians and chose to use fiend form to enhance his battle prowess. After all, he had practically no possibility of making any progress on the orthodox warlock path. Yang Feng was now extremely thirsty for wealth. He naturally wasn't willing to let go of any resources. Understood. 8 slender mechanical arms ejected from an external device on the back of the bladed troop and began to collect the useful items from the corpses. That strange mural could easily hypnotize and kill all kinds of life forms, yet it had no effect on the bladed troop. Reach the bottom. There are no abnormalities. Requesting to return. Return. Shortly after receiving the order, the bladed troop carried a large bag of junk and returned. Yang Feng counted the obtained spoils of war and said somewhat discontentedly, Level 0 spell books, Level 0 secret treasures, expired elixirs, 2,300 gold coins, 234 magic stones. These guys are really paupers. Eunice covered her mouth and chuckled. Those who were tricked by her into entering the Gloom Cave's ruins were basically all apprentice warlocks. Most of those apprentice warlocks were paupers. It was naturally impossible for them to have any good treasures for Yang Feng to plunder. This is a soul stone. Furthermore, it's a superior soul stone. This time I picked up a treasure. Yang Feng's eyes suddenly lit up. He picked up a gray stone from the pile of junk. His eyes flashed with a whiff of excitement as he laughed heartily. Eunice looked at that soul stone. Her eyes flashed with a whiff of envy and jealousy. A soul stone, it's actually a superior soul stone. He's really a lucky bastard. Soul stones were something that only great warlock rank and above experts or some beings with pure and formidable soul force had died. After undergoing a variety of strange rituals, they were condensed and refined into an existence. Superior soul stones in the world of gods with gods, the ancient demonic realm with countless formidable fiends, the abyss world with countless demonic creatures, and the hell world with countless devils, they were all hard currency. One of the greatest functions of this superior soul stone was to refine an embodiment with soul force. Only by using an embodiment of a soul stone could experts above the great warlock rank be able to freely cast a variety of formidable spells using the embodiment as if it was their true body. In Tyrandot subcontinent, at the very least, a great warlock rank expert or above would be required to slaughter more than 5 million humans. Only then would it be possible to refine a superior soul stone. Although mortals were like ants in the eyes of warlocks. But mortals were also the basis of existence in the world of warlocks. Any act of massacring mortals, once discovered, would be directly exterminated by the major warlock groups. That superior soul stone could be said to be very precious and incomparably rare. Yang Feng was all smiles as he put away the superior soul stone, then took his mechanical legion towards the lion mural on the fork road. Chapter 72. At the end of the fork was a huge bronze wall. An oil painting of an ancient black dragon was hung on the huge bronze wall. That oil painting of an ancient black dragon had existed for an unknown amount of time. The ink on it didn't have the slightest trace of fading. The ancient black dragon in the oil painting was vivid and lifelike, as if it was alive. Simultaneously, traces of faint dragon's might were diffusing from the oil painting. Discovered a formidable life force pressure field. According to the scanning analysis, the energy force field and the legendary dragons might have a 95% similarity, capable of deterring inferior life forms. Level 3 apprentice warlocks and below are unable to resist this life force pressure field. Compared to the genuine dragon's might, the energy intensity is too low. A line of information flashed in Yang Feng's mind. Yang Feng thought within, I don't feel anything, that's to say, when using the liquid metal robot, apart from not feeling any pain, the other senses will also be greatly weakened and can be immune to pressure-type force fields. Yang Feng's gaze turned and fell on Eunice's body. Eunice promptly explained, this oil painting is the entrance to Gloom Cave. Directly walk through it and you'll be able to enter Gloom Cave's remains. Yang Feng waved his hand. A bladed troop immediately walked towards the oil painting. That bladed troop had just approached 50 m away from the oil painting, when its body suddenly shrunk, as if it had stepped on an invisible staircase. It walked towards the oil painting. The closer it got to the oil painting, the smaller the bladed troop's body became. Finally becoming the size of a palm, it came in contact with the black dragon's bloody maw, setting off bursts of ripples and directly entered inside. When Yang Feng saw this scene, his eyes flashed with a whiff of admiration. Warlock's power is truly mystical. For ordinary people, this kind of entrance was simply unimaginable. Only those terrifying level 3 warlock and above experts would have such means. Yang Feng took the lead and walked towards the oil painting. Along with Yang Feng continuously advancing, a kind of strange and distorted feeling appeared on his body. He could clearly see that the oil painting was getting bigger and bigger. No matter how much he walked, he was unable to approach the oil painting. Finally, that enormous black dragon's maw filled his field of vision. A deep and bottomless passageway appeared before his eyes. Yang Feng stepped into that bottomless passageway. Bursts of ripples flashed. His eyes brightened. He discovered that he had appeared in an incomparably vast space. In that incomparably vast space, the light was somewhat dim. The entire space seemed to be filled with a layer of extremely gloomy and extremely oppressive, a strange and suffocating aura. Someone else came in. They're screwed. Of them. Someone else came in. A huge peach with the face of an old man and the size of half an adult man was speaking in an innocent childlike voice, while another huge peach with the face of a child and the size of half an adult man was singing a strange song, giggling and hopping over to them. As soon as the two huge peaches approached Yang Feng, he saw that around the two huge human faces on their bodies, there was a circle of malevolent human faces howling in pain. It caused one's hair to stand on end. Eunice's pretty face changed slightly as she warned, "This is an evil being, the human-faced peach. It's a strange monster born from the interweaving of a spiritual body, a mutated plant, and a warlock's formidable life force. It's a strange existence between a spiritual body and a living body. Physical attacks are practically ineffective against it. They were curse-type freaks. Even level 1 warlocks could be killed by these freaks. The souls of those they kill will be bound to their bodies and become the source of their power." Yang Feng looked at the two creepy human-faced peaches, frowned slightly, and waved his hand. Two bladed troops stepped forward in a flash, pulled out their alloy blades and madly chopped at the two human-faced peaches. The two human-faced peaches were chopped into countless pieces in response. Traces of black chi spread out from the two human-faced peaches, condensing into human heads that suddenly flew up and fiercely pounced towards the two bladed troops. An unknown energy force field is eroding. According to the analysis, the energy force field's erosive power towards life forms is enormous and can cause harm to the bodies of level 2 warlock rank life forms. The corrosive effect on the unit is minimal. A series of information was quickly fed back from one of the bladed troops. The human-faced peach was a strange existence between a spiritual body and a living body. It was an extremely huge threat towards humans and all kinds of intelligent life forms. But towards steel products like the bladed troops, it was an extremely small threat. After all, the bladed troops didn't have souls. If a squad of level 3 warlocks were to encounter such a strange existence like the human-faced peach, then they would easily be eaten by it and their souls would also become its nutrients. The human-faced peaches capable of exterminating level 1 warlocks turned into human faces and continuously gnawed at the 2 bladed troops, yet they didn't have any effect. They weren't even able to leave a trace of a white mark on their bodies. Yang Feng waved his hand and a gunner troop equipped with 2 external flamethrowers immediately stepped forward. The 2 flamethrowers at once sprayed 2 long flames and completely engulfed the 2 bladed troops. Under the burning of those terrifying flames, the 2 human-faced peaches at once issued mournful screams. Countless black auras were directly incinerated and purified by those flames. With regards to spiritual bodies as well as a lot of strange phenomena, flames, holy light and dark energy were existences capable of restraining them. In the past 2 years, Yang Feng had been madly studying all kinds of knowledge. He had spent a lot of effort in researching the existences that he was most afraid of. Moreover, he had 3796 develop a lot of weapons to deal with those strange existences. You'll all die. You'll all become fertilizer for our flowers. From within the black smoke came incomparably mournful screams, then flew away from the 2 bladed troops and congregated in midair into countless distorted and strange existences formed from the condensation of human faces. They ferociously cursed the bladed troops, then turned into 2 streams of black smoke and flew towards the depths of Gloom Cave. These spiritual bodies and strange phenomena are indeed the most troublesome existences. For the current me, Yang Feng looked at the 2 streams of black smoke and his eyebrows creased slightly as he thought. After repelling the 2 incomparably sinister human-faced peaches, Yang Feng took the huge mechanical legion and continued to advance. Just after advancing for a short while, Yang Feng saw all kinds of skeletons on both sides of the road. Each skeleton exuded a gloomy and incomparably strange aura. He didn't know whether or not they died under the hands of the incomparably sinister human-faced peaches. After passing through the strange fog for a while, on both sides of the main road appeared gargoyle statues up to 6 m tall, pitch black, with a pair of wings on their back and eyes embedded with rubies. The gargoyle statues were densely packed, and at a glance, there were huge gargoyle statues everywhere. Chapter 73. Gargoyles. These are bronze gargoyles. Be careful, ancient warlocks are extremely fond of using bronze gargoyles as guards. If these bronze gargoyles were to be mobilized, each one's battle prowess would be comparable to that of a level 1 warlock. They possess formidable defensive power as well as various resistances. Curse-type spells are completely ineffective against them. They have extraordinary strength. Their claws are extremely sharp and can easily tear apart all kinds of defensive force fields. Only elemental spells such as Fireball, that kind of destructive spell, can blast them to pieces or destroy their energy cores. Only then can they be effectively killed. After Eunice saw those gargoyle statues, her complexion suddenly changed greatly and she immediately warned. Those gargoyle statues number up to 3,000 once they are all resurrected. 3,000 terrifying gargoyles with battle prowess comparable to that of a level 1 warlock. Even a level 3 warlock can be directly killed. When the bladed troop that was exploring the path arrived near a gargoyle, the rubies embedded in the gargoyle's eyes shone. It instantly brandished its huge sharp claws and clawed at the bladed troop's head, directly chopping off its head. The bladed troop immediately chopped backhandedly. 8 huge alloy blades fiercely chopped at the gargoyle's body, forcibly chopping the gargoyle into several pieces. As if poking a hornet's nest, The gargoyles opened their eyes one after another, their ruby-like eyes flickered with a savage radiance. They flapped their wings and pounced towards the bladed troop. More than a dozen gargoyles at once pounced towards the bladed troop. A transparent protective cover emerged from the bladed troop's body. The gargoyles forcefully clawed, their claws easily tore the transparent protective cover to shreds. They ferociously clawed at the bladed troop's body and frantically tore it apart. The more than a dozen gargoyles tore, the bladed troop with battle prowess comparable to that of a pinnacle level 1 warlock was immediately torn apart. The close to 3,000 gargoyles also pounced towards Yangfeng's party with gusts of gale. Eunice saw those 3,000 gargoyles pouncing towards them. Her pretty face suddenly changed greatly. She couldn't help but retreat a few steps and almost instinctively wanted to release a defensive spell. Yang Feng ordered coldly, "Fire!" 200 level 7 gunner troops quickly adjusted the muzzles of the Vulcan cannons. Countless tongues of flame sprayed out, forming a metal barrage capable of shattering everything in its path towards the 3,000 gargoyles in the sky. The firepower of the Vulcan cannon can easily tear an armored vehicle to shreds. When the terrifying firepower bombarded the gargoyles, they were blasted into pieces. Among those giant gargoyles, a lot of them forcibly passed through the terrifying barrage, but were intercepted by those equally tyrannical bladed troops. Both sides crazily fought against each other. From time to time, several bladed troops were torn to pieces, but even more of those giant gargoyles were chopped into pieces. What a terrifying mechanical puppet army! With such a formidable mechanical golem legion, unless it's a great warlock rank expert, otherwise, even a level 3 warlock would only end up dead if they encounter it head-on. Eunice watched as the bladed troops and the giant gargoyles crazily fought against each other. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a whiff of astonishment. Those 3,000 giant gargoyles already possessed the terrifying strength to kill a level 3 warlock. Currently, the Mechanical Legion only had less than 1,000 units, yet it was able to completely suppress the giant gargoyles. The Mechanical Legion's battle prowess was terrifying. It made Eunice feel extremely shocked. The frantic fighting continued for an entire hour. Those 3,000 giant gargoyles were completely chopped into pieces. Yang Feng's 313 mechanical bladed troops as well as 58 mechanical gunner troops were also destroyed by the giant gargoyles. The defense of Gloom Cave's headquarters is really terrifying. If I rashly entered, then even if there were 10,000 of me, I would still die. Yang Feng looked at the fragments of those 3,000 giant gargoyles. His eyes flashed with a whiff of gloominess. If there wasn't the protection of the Mechanical Legion, then with Yang Feng's strength as a level 3 apprentice warlock, entering Gloom Cave's vestige would only lead to death. I originally thought that my current strength was already enough to explore this vestige, but it seems like it's still not enough. I have to mobilize even more troops, only then would it be possible to explore this vestige. Enter 3796, immediately send reinforcements. Yang Feng's mind moved. He issued an order to NR 3796 through his true body. Understood. Now immediately dispatch the 1st, 2nd and 3rd Corps to send reinforcements. A voice sounded in Yang Feng's mind. Within Steel City's sphere of influence, the doors of the airport's warehouses opened. Thunder Demon heavy-duty transport aircraft sped out of the hangars in an orderly manner and arrived at the already leveled runway. The densely packed mechanical bladed troops, mechanical gunner troops, mechanical shield troops and mechanical artillery troops formed a mixed legion that stood neatly and orderly entered the Thunder Demon heavy-duty transport aircraft. Rumbling sounds continued. Thunder Demon heavy-duty transport aircraft quickly rose into the air and flew in the direction of Gloom Mountain. After issuing the order, Yang Feng took the huge mechanical legion to continue exploring. After shuttling for several kilometers through a layer of dense fog, a huge botanical garden at once appeared before Yang Feng and his entourage. Moke grass, star tears flower, Araman's snake fruit, Palamani flower, 5-leafed blue tears flower. Heavens, these are all extremely rare plants even in ancient times. I'm rich, this time I'm rich. Even a great warlock would go crazy after seeing this botanical garden. Eunice's eyes couldn't help but brighten up when she saw the various plants in the botanical garden. She cried out involuntarily. The various plants in the botanical garden were all very precious, extraordinary plants. Those plants could be turned into elixirs with very miraculous effects for great warlocks through the hands of warlock pharmacists. Eunice's eyes widened when she saw the 10-meter-tall tree in the center of the botanical garden. It had 9 branches, and each branch had a purple fruit the size of 2 fingers condensed on it. Her voice trembled as she said, "That's the enlightenment fruit. A fruit with the miraculous effect of enlightenment. An enlightenment fruit blooms once every 300 years and bears fruit once every 300 years. A treasure with 9 fruits can be condensed within 600 years. Even if an extremely stupid person ate an enlightenment fruit, they could also become a terrifying sage with a learning ability surpassing that of mortals. This is an almost extinct extraordinary plant. It's also a treasure that we warlocks yearn for even in our dreams. The value of an enlightenment fruit exceeds that of this botanical garden by several tens of times." Chapter 74. Enlightenment Fruit. It's actually such a legendary treasure. I must get it. Yang Feng's eyes lit up when he heard that. He looked at the fruit tree in the center of the botanical garden, his eyes brimming with excitement and greed. Yang Feng, this level 3 apprentice warlock, was purely an inferior level 3 apprentice warlock who had accumulated all kinds of rare elixirs. His learning ability, compared to this world's warlock geniuses, was simply extremely inferior. Even though he used the power of the smart microchip, he could only record all kinds of knowledge inside the smart microchip. Wanting to understand and flexibly use it was simply impossible. Once he ate an enlightenment fruit, Yang Feng's learning ability would increase sharply, reaching the level of this world's warlock geniuses. Henceforth, the speed at which he learned all kinds of knowledge would increase geometrically. Warlocks were extremely formidable because they grasped limitless knowledge. The more formidable the warlock, the greater the amount of knowledge grasped. Only then would they have limitless means to deal with all kinds of formidable beings from various major planes. Eunice suppressed the excitement in her heart, her beautiful eyes flashed with a whiff of worry. She looked at Yang Feng beside her and said, "Enlightenment fruits can only be stored in boxes carved from sapphire. The moment it comes into contact with other containers, it will directly vaporize. The majority of extraordinary plants could be stored in glassware. However, there were also a lot of rare extraordinary plants that had different harvesting methods. With the slightest carelessness, those extraordinary plants would be destroyed." Yang Feng's eyebrows creased slightly, his gaze was somewhat unkind as he stared at Eunice and said in a deep voice, "There's also this matter of attention, Teacher Eunice. The extraordinary botany that you gave me isn't complete." Eunice promptly said, "No, what I gave you was the extraordinary botany foundation. There's no method of harvesting treasures like enlightenment fruits in the foundation. You have to know that in the world of warlocks, knowledge is the most precious wealth. It's impossible for free knowledge to be anything too good. The extraordinary botany that I gave you before was already more than sufficient compared to the information given by many teachers. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to recognize enlightenment fruits." Yang Feng carefully recalled for a moment, then inquired about Black Cottage's Master Bonnie's memories. He discovered that it was indeed as Eunice said, the extraordinary botany knowledge she gave him was by far beyond the extraordinary botany knowledge Bonnie grasped. Yang Feng said lightly, "After returning, I need all of your knowledge." Eunice's expression changed several times. She hesitated for a moment before gritting her teeth and saying, "Yes." Yang Feng's mind moved and the 3-bladed troops immediately walked towards the enlightenment fruits in large strides. Suddenly, 20 m in front of the enlightenment fruit, a palm-sized strange plant with 60% resemblance to a sunflower suddenly enlarged to an incomparably huge size. The center of the flower suddenly opened, revealing beast-like teeth, dripping with saliva. It ferociously bit towards the 3-bladed troops as swift as a clap of thunder that left no time to cover one's ears. The 3-bladed troops didn't have the strength to resist and were ruthlessly bitten by the extremely strange plants. Their bodies burst open, various components ejected from their bodies onto the ground. Ear-piercing chewing sounds came from the strange plant. Yang Feng lost contact with the three-bladed troops at once. After swallowing the three-bladed troops, the strange, extraordinary plant at once shrunk and turned into a sunflower-like appearance. Eunice looked at the strange, extraordinary plant and warned, "Anima magic rotten man-eating flower, this extraordinary plant has a terrifying attack speed and attack power. Even level 2 warlocks, so long as they enter their range of attack, they'll be swallowed by them in a flash. Under the circumstances where they're unguarded, level 3 warlocks may also be killed by them in a flash. Their only weakness is that their range of attack is too short, merely 30 m. As long as they're more than 30 m away, they can be killed by using the level 1 spell Fireball or similar elemental offensive spells." Yang Feng waved his hand and ordered. The two gunner troops in a flash adjusted their muzzles. Flames flickered and countless Vulcan artillery shells bombarded the Anima Magic Rotten Man-Eating Flower. The sunflower-like Anima Magic Rotten Man-Eating Flower seemed to have felt that its life was in danger. It suddenly swelled up and turned into a more than 20 m long, 2 m thick Magic Rotten Man-Eating Flower with countless spikes and the teeth of wild beasts. The countless Vulcan artillery shells bombarded the Anima Magic Rotten Man-Eating Flower's vines, blasting open fist-sized holes. A large amount of white mucus sputtered out from the Anima Magic Rotten Man-Eating Flower's vines. The Anima Magic Rotten Man-Eating Flower madly twisted its body and issued traces of beast-like roars. After a few breaths, the Anima Magic Rotten Man-Eating Flower's vines were smashed by the terrifying shellfire. The three-bladed troops quickly stepped forward, brandished the alloy blades in their hands and chopped the Anima Magic Rotten Man-Eating Flower's body into pieces, crushing its terrifying flower core. After getting rid of the Anima Magic Rotten Man-Eating Flower, the three-bladed troops took large strides towards the Fruit of Enlightenment tree. Suddenly, in the surroundings of the Fruit of Enlightenment tree, an up to 10 m tall enormous flower at once bloomed. A crystal ball in the center of the flower instantly cracked, accompanied by an extremely terrifying dragon might. A dragon breath capable of burning everything was sprayed from the crystal ball towards the three-bladed troops. In the blink of an eye, the three-bladed troops, without any strength to resist, were directly turned into ashes by the dragon breath. At the same time, under the shroud of the dragon breath, nearly half of the botanical garden was directly destroyed by the dragon breath, turning into a stretch of scorched land. Eunice's tender body trembled slightly, her beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of fear, and she muttered in a low voice, "Dragon breath. It's actually dragon breath, too terrifying." Dragon breath was the breath of a dragon. An ordinary adult dragon possessed terrifying battle prowess comparable to that of a great warlock. An ancient dragon even possessed terrifying battle prowess comparable to that of a starry sky warlock. An ordinary adult dragon's dragon breath could heavily injure or even kill a great warlock rank expert. Its might was boundless. If one went to pick the enlightenment fruits without taking precautions, then even if a great warlock rank expert was slightly careless, they would also be killed by the dragon breath. Yang Feng saw that more than half of the precious botanical garden had been destroyed. His eyebrows creased. He ordered the three-bladed troops to continue picking the 9 enlightenment fruits. The sealing of the dragon breath was extremely difficult. This time, the three-bladed troops finally smoothly picked the 9 enlightenment fruits from the enlightenment tree. After the 9 enlightenment fruits were picked, all of the precious plants in the botanical garden suddenly withered and withered. The enlightenment tree also withered in a flash, condensing into a blue crystal-like seed. Chapter 75. Eunice sighed somewhat regretfully. After the enlightenment fruit is picked, the enlightenment tree will extract the life essence of the surrounding plants and once again condense into an enlightenment seed. If the surrounding plant's life essence is insufficient, then the enlightenment tree will be unable to condense into an enlightenment seed due to the lack of nutrients. It's because of this habit that they become fewer and fewer. Enlightenment seeds and enlightenment fruits are different. They need to be stored in a ruby box in order to maintain their activity. A bladed troop carefully placed the enlightenment seed into a box carved from a ruby. After collecting the enlightenment seed, Yang Feng somewhat regretfully looked at the ruined botanical garden, then continued to walk towards the interior of Gloom Cave with the huge mechanical legion. On both sides of the road behind the botanical garden, Yang Feng could see broken bones lying on the ground everywhere, traces of gloomy auras continuously diffusing from the bones. Everywhere were the remains of all kinds of buildings, showing that Gloom Cave's headquarters had experienced a terrifying battle. Yang Feng dispatched those bladed troops to search everywhere, but didn't discover any valuable secret treasures. The third Warlock dynasty had already existed for several tens of thousands of years, apart from some top-secret treasures, or secret treasures preserved using special methods. The majority of secret treasures would have been reduced to scrap metal under the corrosion of such a long time. Although they didn't discover any valuable secret treasures, but there were a lot of extremely precious metals in Gloom Cave. Those extremely precious metal materials were all dismantled by Yang Feng's bladed troops, in preparation to be used as materials to manufacture higher-ranked battle robots. After walking for approximately another 10 kilometers, a densely packed group of Warlock pagodas appeared in the center of Gloom Cave. Found it! Yang Feng's spirit was roused, his eyes flashed with a whiff of excitement, then he quickly moved towards the group of Warlock pagodas with the huge mechanical legion. When he arrived before the group of Warlock pagodas, the excitement in Yang Feng's eyes at once disappeared without a trace. The huge group of Warlock pagodas were practically full of broken bricks and tiles. Corpses were everywhere, looking ghastly. Yang Feng's mind moved, the remaining mechanical legion entered the group of Warlock pagodas one after another and began to search for treasures and valuable things. The mechanical legion shared a 3790 SIXS database. Their discernment even surpassed that of a lot of level 1 warlocks. But even so, he didn't gain much from the dilapidated Warlock Tower complex. He only found a lot of metal materials that could be used to manufacture advanced battle robots. After searching for a full 3 hours, Yang Feng ordered the Mechanical Legion to stride towards the most luxurious Warlock Pagoda in the center of the Warlock Pagoda cluster. In the center of the group of Warlock Pagodas, there was an up to 300 tall Warlock Pagoda. It seemed as if a large part of it had been obliterated by some terrifying tremendous power, yet it still released formidable fluctuations of power. Eunice looked at that huge Warlock Pagoda and her beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of greed. Mysterious steel magic rock, a first-rate Warlock Pagoda manufacturing material. Any piece of mysterious steel magic rock, even without any blessing, can withstand the attack of a great Warlock rank expert. A Warlock Tower made entirely of mysterious steel magic rock was really too extravagant. After such a Warlock Tower was completed, as long as there were enough experts keeping watch, then even a peak Starry Sky Warlock would find it difficult to destroy such a Warlock Tower. Truly worthy of being a Warlock group of the Third Warlock Dynasty. Yang Feng waved his hand. A bladed troop immediately stepped forward and brandished its super alloy blade, fiercely chopping at the Warlock Pagoda. Ding! Along with a crisp sound, the super alloy blade that could easily chop a tank into 2 halves was directly broken. At the place where the Warlock Pagoda was chopped, not even a trace of a scar was left on the Warlock Pagoda. A gunner troop stepped forward, its 6-barreled Vulcan cannon madly buzzed, countless tongues of flame bombarded the Warlock Pagoda, issuing bursts of ear-piercing sounds. After the 6-barreled Vulcan cannon stopped firing, Yang Feng took a careful look. There wasn't any trace left on the Warlock Pagoda. Yang Feng's eyebrows creased slightly. He waved his hand and the artillery troops with their 150mm large-caliber main artillery, capable of smashing a tank with one shot and sending an infantryman half the size of a football field to hell, directly launched their main artillery. Boom! In a flash, a heavy artillery shell blasted at the dilapidated Warlock Pagoda, issuing a world-shaking explosion and countless shrapnels splashing in all directions. After the smoke and dust dispersed, Yang Feng took a careful look at the place where the Warlock Pagoda was bombarded. Only a layer of smoke and scorch marks remained, without the slightest bit of damage to the Warlock Pagoda. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with a whiff of regret. He cursed in a low voice. Fuck, with my current strength, wanting to dismantle this Warlock Pagoda is basically impossible. If the Warlock Pagoda refined from mysterious steel magic rock could be dismantled and sold, then it would absolutely fetch a sky-high price. Like this, Yang Feng would have enough gold coins and magic stones to use. After circling around the Warlock Pagoda, a huge hole appeared before Yang Feng's eyes. Yang Feng took the huge mechanical legion and directly entered the Warlock Pagoda through that huge hole. Once inside the Warlock Pagoda, Yang Feng felt the space become incomparably vast. Looking around, he practically couldn't see the end. Within Yang Feng's mind, an 3790 SIXS somewhat excited voice sounded. Dimensional space technology. I didn't expect this world's aborigines to actually grasp such technology. It seems like this world's aborigines' level of civilization is extremely high. To use dimensional space technology, dimensional crystals are bound to be used. Owner, this world has dimensional crystals. With the dimensional crystals, then the portable fortified stronghold can be manufactured. Shizu's technology can be unlocked to another level. A bladed troop pointed in a certain direction and said, according to the energy reaction, it should be in this direction. Yang Feng looked in the direction pointed by the bladed troop, only to see an up to 100 m long western black dragon, covered in black scales from head to toe, looking like a mountain of flesh, entrenched in front of a black door. The huge black dragon's wings and body were pierced by black chains, and there was a huge, bottomless wound on its back, almost cutting it in half. Its body was riddled with scars, a large amount of its scales had already disappeared, revealing all kinds of hair-raising scars. Even so, it still hadn't died, its heart was still beating slowly. Above the black dragon floated a huge transparent crystal. The crystal was engraved with countless mysterious runes. In the depths of the crystal was a fist-sized dimensional crystal emitting spatial force. Chapter 76. After Eunice saw the adult black dragon, a trace of fear flashed in her beautiful eyes. She reminded, this is an adult black dragon, the most ferocious, vicious, cunning, and powerful dragon among the pentashade dragons. It has great warlock rank battle prowess at the very least. Yang Feng, be careful, great warlock rank extraordinary life forms are very terrifying. Great warlock rank? And this is the world of warlocks. The mighty Vedarnia is an ancient black dragon. According to the World of Warlocks division of power, it has starry sky warlock rank strength. That enormous black dragon lying on the ground, with only a heartbeat, slowly opened its eyes and gave them a glance. Its tremendous voice reverberated in the area. Eunice's pretty complexion changed and her voice trembled somewhat. Starry sky warlock. It's actually such a freak. In the entire Tyrandot subcontinent, there were no starry sky warlock rank experts. Even in the main continent, starry sky warlock rank experts were formidable existences that could proclaim themselves as hegemons. In Tyrandot subcontinent, if it wasn't for the 6 great forces having their own heritage, then a starry sky warlock rank expert would be able to dominate the entire Tyrandot subcontinent and become its king. Vedarnia said in a deep voice, the mighty Vedarnia is a dragon with endless wisdom and possesses endless knowledge. Isn't the thing that you warlocks desire the most is knowledge from other planes? As long as you bring 50,000 people here for a blood sacrifice, then I'll impart you endless knowledge and let you have the knowledge to promote to a starry sky warlock. This is a deal that's very beneficial to you, isn't it? When Eunice heard that, her heart was slightly moved and she looked towards Yang Feng. Since the beginning of the Second Warlock Dynasty, human warlocks had begun to explore other planes, absorbing the knowledge of other planes and creating countless cultivation methods. Warlock College and Talia possessed the knowledge to promote to a great warlock. As for the knowledge to promote to a starry sky warlock, even Eunice didn't know whether it possessed it or not. If Vedarnia really possessed the knowledge to promote to a starry sky warlock, then as long as it obtained that knowledge, then it would be enough to establish a peak force second only to the 6 great warlock groups. Yang Feng said with a cold smile, how can you believe a black dragon's words? Black dragons were the most cunning and savage among the 5 colored dragons. If we really brought 50,000 people here as a blood sacrifice, the first thing it would do after it escaped would be to eat us. It was best not to trade with monsters of the chaotic evil alignment unless one had the power to suppress them. Killing them and refining their corpses and souls into materials is the best choice. The actions of the chaotic evil faction were simply illogical. Many evil and powerful existences would even devour and torture their believers and those who made deals with them to death once they descend upon the world. However, they did have terrifying power and were very good at disguising themselves. Ordinary people would not know this at all. Vidarnia's eyes flashed with a strange light, and it said amiably, "Male human, your knowledge is somewhat biased. In every race, there would always be good and bad people, and there would always be some exceptions. I am an exception. I follow the rules of the contract and am an anomaly among the black dragons. As long as you complete the mission I give you, I will protect you and bestow you with a vast amount of knowledge." Yang Feng said with a cold smile, "Sorry, I don't believe you. Only a dead black dragon is a good black dragon. Go, get rid of it." The remaining 100+ gunner troops' Vulcan cannons in a flash spat out terrifying tongues of flame, forming a terrifying metal storm as it madly bombarded the black dragon. Vidarnia lowered its head and closed its eyes, saying in a deep voice, "It's useless, little ant. Your attacks are basically unable to injure my body. This is the disparity between you ants and me." The countless Vulcan cannons' shells bombarded Vidarnia's body, before bouncing off one after another, without leaving any marks on its dragon scales. As if popcorn had been thrown at a stone mountain, there was no effect. "Stop shooting." Yang Feng had a gloomy expression as he waved his hand. The mechanical bladed troops immediately stopped shooting. "Artillery troops, go." An artillery troop immediately stepped forward, its 150mm main artillery extended and aimed at Vidarnia. Boom! A main artillery shell directly bombarded Vidarnia's body. The terrifying explosion immediately engulfed the flesh mountain-like Vidarnia. An incredible scene appeared. After the smoke and dust from the explosion dispersed, Vidarnia's huge body was revealed. That huge body unexpectedly didn't receive any injuries. Vidarnia opened its eyes and said with a ridiculing expression, "Male ant, are you giving me a massage? Not bad, it's very comfortable. Give me a few more rounds." Eunice's pretty complexion changed, her beautiful eyes flashed with incredulity. "This is a starry sky warlock rank extraordinary life form, truly too terrifying. As long as the 150mm main artillery hit its target, then a single round would be able to kill a level 1 warlock like Eunice. Such terrifying artillery fire, yet it couldn't even injure Vidarnia in the slightest. Vidarnia's terror could be seen at a glance. Yang Feng gave a cold smile and ordered, "Amazing! Truly amazing! Vidarnia, if you were at your peak, then I wouldn't be your match at all. But now that you're nailed here, then only death awaits you. I've already discovered your weakness, now go." The remaining 200 bladed troops quickly launched, their figures shook and with a speed surpassing that of cheetahs, they madly rushed towards Vidarnia. More than a dozen bladed troops quickly rushed in front of Vidarnia. They brandished their alloy blades and fiercely chopped at Vidarnia's scales. Ding, ding, ding. Amidst a series of crisp sounds, the alloy blades were directly broken. Vidarnia said with a ridiculing expression, "It's no use, these ants can't even break through my scales." 3 bladed troops at once jumped at one of Vidarnia's huge wounds. A superalloy drill bit ejected from their bodies and fiercely stabbed at Vidarnia's wounds. The terrifying superalloy drill bit revolved crazily, forcibly drilling a large hole in Vidarnia's wound. A large amount of dragon blood sprayed out from the hole, scattering on the ground, causing Vidarnia to let out a painful cry. Yang Feng sneered, "You're indeed in existence with an almost invincible defense, but there are too many wounds on your body. Furthermore, your wounds haven't healed. That's your biggest weakness." Chapter 77. Vidarnia angrily roared, "You damned little ant, even if the great Vidarnia is sealed, you ants are still not my match. All of you, go to hell." Vidarnia's mountain-like body stood upright and trembled crazily, the shackles tightened as if about to snap. Its dragon wings and tail were bound by shackles and sealed, but its hands could still move. As if swatting flies, it swatted at those bladed troops as swift as a clap of thunder. Those bladed troops practically didn't have the strength to fight back. They were easily swatted by Vedarnia's dragon claws and shattered, countless parts splashed to the ground. In a short span of less than 5 minutes, those 200 bladed troops were smashed by the scarred Vedarnia one by one. After Vedarnia smashed all the bladed troops, its eyes flashed with a touch of a malevolent smile and it snarled, "Lowly male human, now the mechanical golems you relied on have turned into waste. What other abilities do you have? Don't hesitate to use them. Let me crush your hopes one by one and let you know the disparity between us dragons and ants." Eunice raised her eyebrows and proposed, "Master, let's go first. After we're ready, we'll come back and get rid of it. In any case, it can't escape. After we've promoted to great warlocks, it won't be too late to come back and kill it." Yang Feng suddenly smiled and said, "Just in time. My reinforcements have also arrived. Vedarnia, if you have the ability, then go ahead and kill all of my reinforcements." Finished speaking, bladed troops immediately came out of the cave and continuously moved towards them. Vedarnia looked at the bladed troops that were continuously coming out and said with a cold smile, "These mechanical golems are like scrap metal. Even if 10,000 of them came, they still wouldn't be my match. You're just wasting your strength in vain." Only, Vedarnia's sneer quickly stiffened on its face. The bladed troops coming out of the cave were practically endless. It seemed as if they were going to completely fill the space. Eunice looked at the densely packed bladed troops and her scalp couldn't help but turn somewhat numb. These mechanical golems number more than 100,000. These mechanical golems have battle prowess comparable to level 1 warlocks. How come there are so many of them? Yang Feng gave a cold smile and ordered, "If 10,000 can't kill you, then what about 100,000? What about 300,000? What about 500,000? Vedarnia, I have a total of 500,000 reinforcements on my side. Do your best and get rid of them all." 10,000 bladed troops quickly moved forward and pounced on Vedarnia like ants. "No, damn it. Why do you have so many mechanical puppets? Damn it." Vedarnia saw the densely packed bladed troops and issued a mournful wail. Within a few breaths, Vedarnia madly fought with the 10,000 bladed troops. Terrifying dragon roars resounded unceasingly in the space, countless mechanical parts splashed everywhere, hundreds and thousands of bladed troops were easily torn to shreds by Vedarnia. Yang Feng saw the countless mechanical bladed troops shatter and turn into various components. He couldn't help but say, "What a savage monster." Vedarnia was already heavily injured, and every part of its body was sealed. Moreover, it hadn't eaten anything for several tens of thousands of years. But even so, it was still incomparably ferocious, easily destroying hundreds and thousands of bladed troops. This monster was simply terrifying. If such an ancient black dragon like Vedarnia were to descend to Earth, then apart from nuclear warheads, no other weapons could harm it. It alone could destroy a country. Every time one of those bladed troops was destroyed, another one would automatically take its place, always maintaining the scale of 10,000 as they madly attacked Vedarnia. When Vedarnia destroyed the 10,000 bladed troops, its whole body was already riddled with scars, countless old wounds were cut open, drops of dragon blood gushed out of its body and fell to the ground. But there were still 10,000 mechanical golems madly attacking it, forcing it to not have the time to recover. Vedarnia's eyes suddenly turned red. It opened its ferocious maw and madly sprayed a red dragon breath towards Yang Feng. 1,000 level 7 shield troops raised their shields and activated level 2 protective covers, forming a huge protective barrier in front of Yang Feng's group of 3. The scarlet dragon breath fell on the protective barrier. As if tearing a thin piece of paper, it directly burned the protective barrier. The 1,000 level 7 shield troops also melted one by one in a flash within the scarlet dragon breath. But the 1,000 level 7 shield troops blocked it for a split second. Yang Feng's group of 3's figures shook. They directly jumped to the side, dodging the terrifying dragon breath that could seriously injure a great warlock. After the terrifying dragon breath passed through the place where Yang Feng's group of 3 was originally standing, it fell behind Yang Feng, burning more than 2,000 mechanical gunner troops into ashes. Yang Feng said with a cold smile, "Dragon breath? You still dare to spew dragon breath? That's really stupid. In your current state, how many more dragon breaths can you spew? 3 or 5? I still have 10,000 shield troops, feel free to burn them." Dragon breath was one of the dragon's strongest means of attack. A dragon at its peak could spew 1 to 200 dragon breaths. To use dragon breath against such a heavily injured dragon like Vidarnia, it was simply courting death, wasting its strength in vain. After Vidarnia spat dragon breath, its movements slowed down. Nearly 100 mechanical bladed troops seized the opportunity to fiercely stab its wounds with drills, forcefully directly stirring up a large amount of flesh and blood. Vidarnia roared in pain. It waved its dragon claw, directly smashing the 100 bladed troops into steel chunks, smashing them to the ground. The 100 bladed troops were destroyed, then hundreds and thousands of bladed troops attacked from other places, not giving Vidarnia the slightest chance to catch its breath. Eunice watched as Vidarnia was besieged by the densely packed ant-like bladed troops, her scalp slightly numbed. Shui was extremely excited as she watched this scene. Vidarnia finally couldn't help but roar loudly, "Human, spare me, spare my life. I can sign a soul contract with you, and make you my master." Eunice's beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of peculiarity. She remained silent. Yang Feng gave a cold smile, his eyes flashed with a touch of ridicule as he said, "Do you think I'm stupid? The intensity of your soul is more than 1,000 times that of mine. I'm afraid that just after signing a soul contract, I'll be directly devoured by your soul and instead become your slave. Black dragons are really cunning, therefore, a dead black dragon is the best black dragon." Chapter 78. Yang Feng had obtained a lot of knowledge through his diligent studies in Warlock College Antalya. He was very clear about the dangers of signing a soul contract with those beings from other planes with formidable souls. Those terrifying beings capable of crossing planes to communicate with the world of warlocks were all terrifying experts of the great warlock rank or above. The strength of such terrifying expert souls was extremely astonishing. For mortals to want to sign a master-servant contract with them, that was simply courting death. In the records of warlocks, there were many formidable beings that after signing a master-servant contract with mortals, they would disguise themselves as those mortals' slaves, then tempt those mortals to summon them to this world through blood sacrifices and all kinds of evil rituals. Then, under the despairing gazes of their masters, they would directly kill those mortals. Only formidable beings of the great warlock rank or above could use a master-servant contract to bind those terrifying beings with strength comparable to starry sky warlocks. If Yang Feng coveted Vidarnia's strength and signed a master-servant contract with it, then he would definitely be easily devoured by it. Vidarnia roared in pain. It brandished its giant claws and directly smashed dozens of bladed troops into pieces. "Let me go, I have a lot of knowledge. That knowledge is enough to let you directly promote to a great warlock rank expert." Yang Feng said with a cold smile, "I only want you to die." Finished speaking, no matter how Vidarnia pleaded, threatened, or tempted, Yang Feng didn't utter a single word. He sneered and ordered the practically endless bladed troops to attack Vidarnia. The crazy battle continued for a full 5 days and 5 nights. 200,000 bladed troops were directly destroyed by Vidarnia. The wreckage of the bladed troops could be seen everywhere in that space. "Damn bastard! Lowly male human, if I wasn't seriously injured, if I wasn't sealed, then even if you used that many trash-like mechanical golems, you still wouldn't be my match." Covered in blood and riddled with scars, Vidarnia was lying on the ground, gasping for breath and wailing in extreme pain. Lying on its body were ant-like bladed troops. Those bladed troops used drills to continuously drill into Vidarnia's wounds, drilling into Vidarnia's flesh and destroying its body. Vidarnia had gone through 5 days and 5 nights of sleepless fighting. Its stamina and power were nearly exhausted. It could only helplessly watch those bladed troops destroying its body. That's right, Starry Sky Warlock rank extraordinary life forms are really terrifyingly formidable. If you were at your peak, then I wouldn't be your match. But there are no ifs. You're dead meat. Through the analysis of the life force detector, Yang Feng clearly perceived that Vidarnia's aura of life was gradually weakening, finally revealing a trace of a smile. Under the siege of 500,000 bladed troops, the heavily injured and sealed Vidarnia actually managed to get rid of 200,000 bladed troops comparable to level 1 warlocks. Such terrifying battle prowess left Yang Feng speechless. If he didn't have the help of the Mechanical Legion, then even now, the already seriously injured Vidarnia could casually get rid of Yang Feng, who only had the cultivation of a level 3 apprentice warlock. Vidarnia spat out a mouthful of dragon blood. Tears of blood gushed out from its already gouged out eyes, and it asked full of resentment, "Lowly mortal, what is your name? Let me know who killed the great Vidarnia." Yang Feng said with a smile, "Powerful beings such as fiends and devils can use a person's name to cast a curse on them. Furthermore, it was his real name that had the greatest effect. Vidarnia, you are really not simple. However, you can die with your doubts." In Black Cottage's inheritance, it recorded the taboos of dealing with those fiends and devils. One of the taboos was that, unless one had the strength to crush them or a secret treasure to defend against curses, otherwise, one must absolutely not reveal one's name in front of fiends and devils. Once one personally reveals one's real name to those strange and evil beings, then those evil beings can use the real name to carry out a vicious curse on the person being cast. The most vicious curse can even be extended for tens or even hundreds of generations. Lowly ant, you're really too careful. I curse you to die a horrible death. I curse your descendants, that every generation of women will be prostitutes and every generation of men will be slaves. I curse you to be unable to promote to a warlock for the rest of your life. One after another, vicious curses gushed out from Vidarnia's mouth, but they didn't have any effect, it was only venting. I don't want to die. I really don't want to die. Along with a mournful lament, Vidarnia finally lowered its head powerlessly and lost its breath, turning into a corpse. Once Vidarnia died, the formidable life force shrouding its body immediately disappeared. Those bladed troops quickly dug out its heart from within its body. Vidarnia's heart was the size of a house. Even though it was already dead, its heart still didn't lose its vitality, it was still beating unceasingly. With each beat, it would squeeze out a large amount of dragon's heart blood. Those bladed troops quickly put the heart into an enormous tempered glass and quickly transported it outside. Very quickly, the tempered glass was transported out of Gloom Cave's headquarters and arrived in front of Yang Feng. A bladed troop at once removed the helmets of Yang Feng, Xianxia and Eunice. Yang Feng quickly took off his clothes and at once jumped into the tempered glass pool containing the dragon's heart. It hurts. Once Yang Feng was soaked in the dragon's blood, it was as if sulfuric acid was splashed on his body. His skin was instantly corroded and ulcerated. An enormous pain was transmitted from his skin, making him directly issue a mournful scream. Dragon's blood had the terrifying effect of allowing mortals to evolve and become extraordinary. But at the same time, ordinary mortals were basically unable to withstand the enormous power contained within the dragon's blood. Mortals below the knight rank basically only had a dead end after being splashed with the dragon's blood. The stronger the effect of the dragon's heart blood within the dragon's heart, the greater its might. Xianxia also took off her clothes and at once jumped into the dragon's blood pool. Looking at Yang Feng's painful appearance, her eyebrows creased slightly. She pointed with her lily-white finger and shortly after, a minor healing spell fell on Yang Feng's body. Yang Feng felt slightly better after being brushed by the minor healing spell. But in the next moment, that sharp pain that seemed as if it wanted to melt his whole body once again spread throughout his body. Yang Feng operated magic notes tighten at once. As if his whole body changed into that of a giant, his muscles tightened and he frantically devoured the dragon's heart blood's flesh and blood essence into his body. Under the strengthening of magic notes tighten, Yang Feng's body unceasingly disintegrated and reconstructed. Every time he disintegrated and reconstructed, his flesh and meridians would become even stronger. Chapter 79. Eunice glanced at the tempered glass pool filled with dragon's heart blood, clenched her teeth, took off her clothes and jumped into the tempered glass pool. She was very clear about the preciousness of dragon's heart blood. In the entire Tyrannid subcontinent, only a few people could enjoy bathing in a starry sky warlock-ranked dragon's heart blood. After Eunice entered the dragon's heart blood pool, she clenched her teeth and operated a secret method. Her body blossomed with starlight, absorbing the power of the dragon's heart blood within the dragon's heart blood. Inside the dragon's heart blood pool, Yang Feng and Eunice's faces were twisted, appearing to be in extreme pain. Only Shi Shui was very relaxed. She wasn't affected at all, easily absorbing the power within the dragon's heart blood pool. After a full hour, Yang Feng felt the power transmitted from the dragon's heart blood pool gradually disappear. He then lightly jumped out of the dragon's blood pool. At this moment, a bath had already been prepared on the side. Yang Feng entered the bath and took a bath, only then did he leave the bath feeling refreshed. Yang Feng felt that his body was brimming with power, his qi and blood were boiling. He casually threw a punch and directly set off a terrifying fist wind. Yang Feng ordered, "Scan my body." Initiating scan. Yang Feng, basic attributes, strength 12. 1. Agility 12. 5. Physique 12. 7. Spirit 13. 2. Blood meridians. Weak black dragon's blood meridians. Spirit aptitude, superior level 3. General evaluation, classified as a level 7 life form. According to this world's ability classification, currently an extraordinary life form with battle prowess comparable to that of a level 1 warlock. However, without condensing a soul seed and establishing a spirit seed, therefore, not considered a level 1 warlock. After bathing in the dragon's heart blood, one has a strong resistance towards all kinds of spells and curses. According to the current analysis, one is completely immune to level 0 offensive spells and has a great resistance towards level 1 spells. Yang Feng pondered and said, "That black dragon is a terrifying being with starry sky warlock rank battle prowess at its peak. I might as well directly extract its blood meridians and implant them into my body, then cultivate black dragon-type secret methods and walk the blood meridian warlock path." The orthodox warlock path required people with very good spirit aptitudes as well as huge amounts of resources to be able to walk relatively smoothly. People with poor soul aptitude would basically walk the path of blood meridian warlocks. The biggest weakness of blood meridian warlocks was that once they cultivated to the limit of the formidable life forms implanted with their blood meridians, there would be no way for them to evolve, and it would be difficult for them to advance even an inch. The advantage of blood meridian warlocks was their fast cultivation speed, and the lifespan of blood meridian warlocks was much longer than that of orthodox warlocks. From a long-term point of view, taking the orthodox warlock's path would undoubtedly have extremely broad development potential. But Yang Feng's soul aptitude was really too poor, forcing him to choose the blood meridian warlock path. This is the smell of black dragon heart blood. Accompanied by a deep voice, a young man of about 23 or 24 years of age, dressed in a black warlock's robe, with short golden hair, an extremely handsome appearance, and exuding a charming temperament slowly walked out from the side of the woods. Next to the handsome young man was an old man with white hair and beard. He was dressed in a butler's uniform. Eunice had already finished her bath. She was dressed in a silver low-cut warlock's robe. A pair of slender and beautiful legs were faintly discernible. She walked over with a touch of a fragrance. When Eunice saw the young man, her eyebrows creased slightly and she said, "Rains, what do you want to do here?" Rains looked at the beautiful and moving Eunice. A touch of greed flashed past the abyss of his eyes. As if Yang Feng didn't exist, his face carried a gentlemanly smile. "Eunice, you and him both have the fragrance of black dragon heart blood. Where's the black dragon heart blood?" Eunice didn't pay attention to Rains, and instead took the initiative to say towards Yang Feng, "Darren, he's the most beloved son of Black Dragon Pagoda's master Anthony Bolette, Rains." Black Dragon Pagoda. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with a touch of a peculiar radiance. Black Dragon Pagoda was one of Tyrandot subcontinent's 6 strongest great warlock groups. Reportedly, Black Dragon Pagoda's master was a Blood Meridian warlock clan with Black Dragon's Blood Meridians. Black Dragon's Blood Meridians were extremely formidable. Adult Black Dragons were basically terrifying existences of the great warlock rank. The Blood Meridian warlock clan that possessed Black Dragon's Blood Meridians were also in complete control of Black Dragon Pagoda. Moreover, Black Dragon Pagoda was also the most formidable existence among Tyrandot subcontinent's 6 great forces. Rains swept Yang Feng with a contemptuous glance and threatened loftily, "From these mechanical golems, you must be Steel City's waste Yang Feng. These mechanical golems are very good, I like them very much, offer them to me and then scram. I can spare your worthless life. Otherwise, with just a word from me, I can exterminate your entire Steel City." When Yang Feng heard that, he became furious within. He glanced at the old man beside Rain's and his eyes flashed with a touch of dread. Rain's life force was a notch lower than Eunice's. It was at the level of an ordinary level 1 warlock. But the life force of the old man beside him was extremely huge. It was comparable to that of a level 2 warlock. The old man smiled coldly and threatened in a sinister tone, "My young master wants you to hand over those mechanical puppets. Are you deaf? Or do you want to implicate your uncle and exterminate Steel City?" Eunice's pretty face sank and she said coldly, "Rains, what are you trying to do? Scram at once, otherwise when I return, I'll definitely complain to the council." Rains revealed a trace of a lascivious smile. "Beautiful Eunice, I've wanted to obtain you for a very long time. But you've always been hiding in Warlock College Antalya, leaving me with no way to act. However, after today, you'll become a beautiful addition to my collection. Do you want to come with me now, or do you want to wait for a while and have my butler old Barry invite you back?" Barry revealed a trace of a smile, operated a secret method and an incomparably formidable life force spread from his body. The terrifying life force of a level 2 warlock oppressed Yang Feng, this expert with a level 1 warlock's physique, to the point that it became somewhat difficult to breathe. Eunice's heart shivered. She gave the old man Barry beside Rains a deep glance and was brimming with dread. "Rains, you actually dare to act against me, aren't you afraid of my father's retaliation?" Rains gave a contemptuous smile and said extremely arrogantly, "Starlight Aldrich, that waste still has some power in the Southern States Alliance. But if he dares to come to our Black Dragon Pagoda, then I guarantee that he won't be able to return. Kill them." Welcome to Immortal Cultivation Audiobooks, your gateway to the mystical world of Xianxia. Dive into legendary tales of martial arts, spiritual growth, and immortal ascension. Here, we bring you full-length English audiobooks of the best Wuxia and Xianxia stories, from young prodigies to ancient sect wars. Perfect for fans of Against the Gods, Martial World, and tales of demons and gods.